Okay, so we're going out this morning. What exactly are we going to do?
We've got some bait sites established, being monitored with cellular trail cameras. These cameras allow us to identify individual animals coming visiting the bait sites. Some of those will indicate target animals that we're after, and some that we have previously dealt with. But basically, this morning we're looking to we've got a bait site in which we know that some of last summer's calves have been frequenting, and that is our target this morning, is to capture and tag West Virginia born elk.
This side of the mountain was burned 1 year.
We'll go back to Rose next. Just try it. Oh yes, sir.
People here by the state trust.
In the late 90s down in here.
Right, this is Isaiah. But he's going to WVU this fall. He's going to follow in our footsteps. Okay, we'll ear tag it, assuming this is this year's calf. We'll ear tag it, sex it, won't take very long, put a radio collar on it, and then we're going to want to reverse this drug so that the animal can get back up on his feet as quick as possible. So, any pictures you want, take them, be quick about it. You want to touch the animal, you're here, you're going to touch it, okay? All right, you're going to hold this animal, okay. All right?
I'm going to take a selfie with it.
That's fine, yeah. And but let's be expeditious with it, and so we can. There's a few other people here that are going to be their first time, so they're going to want pictures too. But don't be shy. If I see you're being shy, I've got 2 elbows. I'm going to make room for you. All right. Just, you don't get to do this every day. We don't get to do this every day.
You see it laying there?
Yeah.
We need to get this one, we need to get the legs straightened up on this one. You got the head?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Oh, we got through there.
You ready? Okay. Your legs. Front leg's good, back leg's good. All right.
Which ones you working up first?
We'll do this one. It's the first one there.
All right. Okay, I can do. You asked me this morning. I said,
Get in here and hold it. Get over here, Isaiah. Get over here. Yeah.
So you want the head?
Sure, I'll hold it.
You want to hold on?
All right. Hold there. Hold the head down. Down. A little bit more. All right. Because he's down, he'll be salivating.
Okay.
Okay. We don't want him to aspirate.
Okay.
Pull him down so that you can see it's coming out of his mouth.
Okay.
All right. Give me a look, Isaiah. All right, bye. You got a pretty good story for show and tell. Huh?
Have an excellent presentation.
hey, Eric, can you turn that camera towards me? There you go.
Where's the Jerry pulled deer tag? You got him.
Yeah.
Where's the pliers?
The tabs are laying right there. I said the tabs are laying right there.
Just past your cast, right?
Yeah.
Take that clotting powder out, Randy?
No. Should be
How big you are.
Not in that green box? Where the hell did it go? Oh.
It's in there. Somebody put it in there last time.
Close here.
We'll see. I didn't move it.
Alright. Now, you punch a hole in the ear like you just rotate them.
Okay.
So that the scar tissue, that little bit will help keep the scar tissue from.
Okay.
Got one forward and one backwards. Where'd he put them tabs?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it back on when I get back in the line. Get back in the line.
Are you all done with the infection there? We got sex wise.
I don't know. I haven't looked.
This one's a bull.
Bull.
We got a cow calf up there. I say that one's really good.
This was pretty good size.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm
Oh, that's a cow calf.
2 cows and a
2 cows.
bull.
Do you have that other scalpel handle in here?
The white one should still be in there.
Where you doing this, Jake?
What's that? Oh, you can just take it kind of down in here. It doesn't, I mean, it's not any particular area for it.
Randy, is there like an automatic selector switch on that thing where you just sending them after these things?
Man, that thing's
Like
deep,
World War
big.
II?
Yeah, some of these
I had to make one.
are easier than others.
Yeah, right.
No, he didn't say
No,
three.
you can take it.
I'm hearing things.
Well, I thought the two, they stayed right here. And that third half one running up, and I thought, shit, I don't have a dart. So I made a dart while I was in there, and they were standing there, and this one went down while I was making the dart for the other one. Actually, that's not that bad. And then the second one went down, and I shot the third one. And she didn't go for it, so I figured I was in pretty good shape, so she didn't go for it. Take them while they're hot, man. That's the way I look at it.
Take the opportunity.
Yeah.
Had enough people to help.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. So we got plenty of
Got
help.
enough hands.
And we had experience in it, so I didn't have to worry about somebody being with me while we worked them up. I'll tell you what, three's collar's too tight. We're gonna have to throw her and loosen her collar. She's wearing a
Black 3?
no yellow three. I put it on. We did her last year, didn't we?
Yeah.
I apparently put it on.
We did her back in February.
Hang on, Eric. Let me video.
She's losing some hair. It's not rubbing thin, but it's moving. It's still, I don't like the look of it when the hair's not.
Black 29. Alright, the other one need tagged?
No, Nick took the stuff to tag it. It needs one of these. Take a picture.
Alright, so we've got elk on the landscape with 3 different types of ear tags: orange, yellow, and black. The orange ear tagged elk are those originated at Land Between the Lakes from Kentucky, which was the elk from the original stocking. The yellow ear tags are those elk that came from Arizona, and the black ear tags are West Virginia born elk. Today we just tagged 28, 29, and 30. Black ear tag 28, 29, 30. And so those are the 28th, 29th, and 30th West Virginia born elk that we've been able to put our hands on and tag and equip with radio transmitters.
It's real cool. Surreal, really. Too much love. Are you all doing it again this afternoon?
Yeah. I don't know. I hadn't looked. Need to sex them all. This was pretty good size. Obviously, that doesn't.
No, that's a cow calf.
2,000.
2 cows, 1 bull.
Do you have that other scalpel handle in here?
The white one should still be in there.
What are you doing?
What's that? Oh, you can just take it kind of down in here. It doesn't. I mean, it's not any particular area for it.
Randy, is there like an automatic selector switch on that thing where you just sending them at these things? Like World War II in the trenches?
I had to make one.
I thought.
Easy.
Don't step on my Dr. Pepper. Give me that photo off.
Easy.
Sure are pretty. Off the camera. Easy.
All right, well, West Virginia reintroduced elk. There's been a movement in the eastern part of the country to restore elk to their native range. And North Carolina, Tennessee, Missouri, several eastern states have done so, and we finally got on board in West Virginia and were successful in reintroducing elk to their native range of West Virginia in 2016. We're currently in the process of capturing and tagging elk. The tagging process was to identify individuals so we can track them through their life, identify the growth, expansion of the population, where they're spreading to throughout the landscape, so we can maintain population numbers, estimates, so that management decisions can be made in the future.
All right, so how many elk have you all tagged since you reintroduced them?
So the first the original introduction would have been 24, and then about 2 years later we had 60, and the original 24 was from Kentucky. Then the next group was 60 from Arizona, and then at that same time we had 15 more from Kentucky. So that would be a total of 99.
Okay. And with radio callers, how does the GPS and the signaling and stuff like that work?
So basically, you get real-time locations, and those are GPS collars. And we have equipment, computerized equipment, to get those real-time locations. So we can set, any one of us can set the office, look them up on the computer, and then if there's any concerns, maybe we get a mortality signal, because if those collars do not have significant movement within a 24-hour period, then there'll be basically a mortality signal. And then one of our managers or biologists will take a radio antenna, and they'll go out and use that to get a directional location. Then they can go in and see what's going on.
Okay. Well, thank you.
All right.
So you're the wildlife manager here at Tomla, and what do you do on a day-to-day basis that promotes elk population and growth and just herd positivity?
Sure. So as the wildlife manager of Tomlin, I'm tasked with maintaining and creating like usable habitat, not just for the elk, but for game species like bear, rabbit, deer, turkey. We also have a quail initiative out here. I do a lot of habitat work for that. But pertaining to elk, a lot of habitat management work of keeping back the succession. I mean, you can see around here, autumn olive. These reclaimed mine strips were planted with a lot of invasive species back in the day, most notably Serratia lespedeza and autumn olive. And those species aren't conducive for elk. They don't eat the lespedeza, which is like a woody stem grass. It's that right by your foot there, that's what that is. And the autumn olive actually has food. You know, they create berries, but elk really don't eat those too much. So a lot of what I do out here for the elk is beating back secession, whether through mechanical means, fire, control burns, chemical, mechanical, so disking, stuff like that. You know, elk management's a lot easier than some species. You know, you think it'd be difficult, but really, as long as you maintain roughly around 30 to 40% open land on a landscape, you can have elk on the landscape, and as long as you have beneficial species for them to graze on and eat. But also elk will eat mast, stuff like that, you know, acorn stuff that comes off of the trees, depending on the season of the year. Yeah, really just getting into the areas, knocking down what's bad there, and trying to encourage growth of what's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're obviously out here a lot. Have you noticed anything that has really just stood out as far as the elk population has come? You know, like any specific years that have been good or bad, and what caused that?
Yeah. So I'll start chronologically. I started down here in early 2018. And that was actually when we had the elk in the pen from Arizona. We actually had them in the pen, and then we released them. And that following year, 2019, we actually did, if you asked about bad years, that was the bad year. 2019, we experienced more mortalities than what literature suggests is normal due to what's called meningeal worm, which is a brain worm. White-tailed deer will carry meningeal worm, and it won't affect a whitetail, but if any other cervid like an elk, moose, mule deer, if they come in contact with that parasite, it can potentially kill them. And due to some of the administrative decisions, our elk weren't released from the elk pen at the most fit state. So, and right after we released them, coming in the fall was the rut. So they kind of went into the rut at a somewhat weakened state, and then right after the rut is the winter. So I think all of these kind of things culminated into, literature suggests that usually around 10% of your elk population will die from brainworm. We were experiencing somewhere towards 25 to 30% that year. So that was a rough year for us. But since then, the past 3 years have been really good calf years. We've made up what we've lost from that initial bad year. You know, that's what we're doing out here right now, is tagging these calves and stuff so we can track them and follow them. But we've had very good calf years the past 3 years, and getting a lot of female calves born, which is good because females are the drivers of populations, you know. So I'd say, you know, we're kind of relying with what we have on the ground right now, but you know, it's onward and upward from here.
Is there a possibility that, you know, the state buys more elk to bring in?
Oh yeah, there's the possibilities there. That's a little bit over my purview, you know. It gets political there, you know, talks between governors and stuff like that. Yeah, but we're held to a standard that many eastern states like Kentucky, who did elk reintroductions in the 90s and earlier on, we have to only pull from CWD-free states. We cannot grab any elk from a state that they found CWD in. So that limits where we can get our elk. Kentucky, Arizona, that's our 2 source herds for what we have out here now. And then, you know, there's other states like Washington, potentially Nevada. But as of right now, there hasn't been an agreement set up for more. I'm sure it'll come in the future. But right now we're relying with what we have on the ground. And like I said, we're slow growing. So what we have on the ground right now is working. And we're also hoping, you know, as the crow flies, the Tug River isn't far from here, and those eastern Kentucky elk, you know, they have already done it in the past, migrated over the Tug into West Virginia looking for potential breeding animals, other cows, but they've always gone back to Kentucky because there weren't elk here. Now we have elk here. We're hoping that some of those Kentucky elk can come over the river and stay on this side of the river, you know what I mean? It only helps our population out with genetic diversity and stuff like that.
Well, thank you, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
absolutely.